Wow. What one-sided action Sunday night. I mean, we were all looking forward to yet another epic clash between these two titans. And, well, while we kind of knew who was going to win that matchup, I bet no one thought it was going to be such a one-sided victory. But I do think that the leader of the other side is going to let this defeat fuel the fire for him and his men the rest of the season. I am, of course, talking about The Walking Dead Season 8 premiere. Oh yeah, I guess there was a blowout between the Patriots and Falcons too. You know, there should be a fantasy Walking Dead. Like, you get to pick the different characters, and then you get, like, points every week from, like, you know, when they kill a walker or, you know, kill a human, or, like, every time Rick says, Carl. You know, that should be a point. You know, Rick and Daryl will probably be, like, the top two picks. But you know who my sleeper is? Jerry from the Kingdom. Alright, I guess we should talk about fantasy football. Alright, well, here it is, your Week 7 Rip City Fantasy Football League recap. Finally, the touch has come back to the blowout of the week. And on the weekend of our 4th anniversary, well, the modern gift is glass, but instead I whooped your ass, Tracy. As it was the touch who was celebrating a 51.7 fantasy point victory, 154.42 to 102.72. It was Julio getting his first TD of the season, that helped, but it was Carson Wentz who went off for 268 passing yards, 4 touchdowns, including a 40-pluser, and 63 rushing yards. Carson Wentz where he wanted, by land or by air, racking up 38.02 fantasy points, sealing my victory with yet another performance that was simply glorious. The touch stays in second at 5-2, and Team Hell Yes tumbles to 2-5 in 9th place. Tough break, but happy anniversary! And from the simply glorious to the simply depressing. As Vinny and Marissa, your losing streak extends to 3. You started off 4-0 on top of the world, but now you're down to 4th place after Sakina, Aaron's bitch, without A-Raj, hold it out in a close one, 143.78 to 138.72. No Aaron? No problem. As his near look-alike without the helmet, Alex Smith is looking like Rodgers with the helmet, with 342 passing yards, 3 passing touchdowns, 2 for a bonus. That's 2 for a bonus, totaling 37.68 fantasy points. Smith is outplaying A-Raj this year, averaging 26.75 fantasy points in our league. Where was this Alex Smith when he was on the Niners? Seriously. Sakina stays on top in first place with a 6-1 record. Next up on the docket, it's Ken taking down Stan 112.52 to 91.86 with his man Phillip Rivers tossing in 21.32 fantasy points. But it was LaShawn who was the real McCoy this week, hence the terrible 90s dance music. It was another night, another dream for the Bills stud running back, who came and got his love with 24.7 fantasy points. Watch him run away here with 91 rushing yards, 2 rushing touchdowns, adding 3 receptions for 31 yards. That's seriously all the real McCoy songs I can think of. Thank God. Ken moves up to 6th place at 3-4. Tecmo Stan, also at 3-4, moves down to 7th. Come on, Ken, celebrate! Shake that body! Okay, I know that's not a real McCoy song. I just wanted to say that. Moving along! It was Back to the Future, the champ, Reichel, getting the win on his Bukkake by 132.48 to 90.78 with his namesake at the helm throwing in 35.96 fantasy points. But, ladies and gentlemen, Amari Cooper learned how to catch a football! As your $1 billion baby, A. Cooper, finally looking more Amari than Alice, telling the Chiefs no more Mr. Nice Guy, piling up 45.5 points off of 11 receptions for 210 yards, 2 touchdowns with a 40-pluser. Cooper was poison to the Chiefs squad this week, but made your lineup a house of fire, moving you up to 3rd place at 5-2, and Bukkake is still just a big waffle. Alright, well, for the second week in a row, it was Randy Demolition handing everyone a nail-biter on Monday night with another victory by less than a point. So, for the second week in a row as well, here's the Heartbreak Kid, Shawn Michaels, with the Heartbreak of the Week.
Hey, thanks again, Touch. Yeah, I am the showstopper, the main event, the icon, the Heartbreak Kid, Shawn Michaels. Randy, instead of Demolition, you should be the Heartbreak Dude. You know, instead of Kid, because you're too old. But for 2 weeks running, you've been the one breaking hearts and taking names. And on Sunday, your hero was Zeke Elliott with 47.4 fantasy points. But on Monday night, it was Jake Elliott who was your hero. You see, the matchup between Anthony was so close it was even tied at 128.56 at halftime. Anthony had the game in hand, leading by 3.4 points, until Jake Elliott super kicked a 42-yarder, giving Los Lobos the sweet chin music, and picking up 4 points and eventually the win by only 0.6 for Demolition, or as I call him, the Heartbreak Dude. And I should know, because I am the Heartbreak Kid, Shawn Michaels, and this was the Heartbreak of the Week.
Thanks again, Shawn. That takes care of the matchups this week, and that means only one thing. We've come to the part of the show where we give props to the fantasy points that didn't do squat for you. That's right. We now take the time to salute the players on your pine, piling up fantasy points you'd rather have in your starting lineup in a segment we like to call On Your Bench! Let's start with the Heartbreak of the Week. Anthony, you could have won if you started Jameis Winston over TB12, but no one in their right mind would do that, so I'll let that slide. But you keep going with Mixon for some reason. Joe hasn't been a big hit in a while. So, maybe Matt's more your forte? Neither did so great this week, so let's take a look at the other side. Randy, you got the win, but you almost stalled out. I know you're a motorcycle man, but you should have brought your car out of the garage this week, as in Derek Carr. Baby, you can drive my car, 'cause Derek would have been a star. It was 36 points for Carr, sitting on your bench. Let's go to the champ. Reichel, I find it funny that you picked up Juju Smith-Schuster this week, but you started his Steelers cohort Martavis Bryant instead, even though the Aliens' fantasy production has been abducted this year. Keeping Smith-Schuster on the pine was bad juju, as he got 10 times the fantasy points Martavis got. Maybe next week you'll be asking Juju, how do you do the voodoo that you do, instead of shooping it up and playing hide and seek. On your bench! Okay, I know that was a bit of a stretch, but you know how I like to push it. But the On Your Bench All-Star of the Week for the second week running, Vinny and Marissa Relax, who lost by just over 5 fantasy points, all because they tickled the Ivories this week with Chris Ivory instead of starting Mr. Jones, who would have been a big star in your lineup with 28.3 fantasy points, but instead of counting crows, you were eating crow. Because those points Mr. Jones got you didn't count because they were left staring right back at you on your bench. Counting crows?
Nevermore.
So that's it for the Week 7 recap video. Don't forget to scour the waivers, make some trades, set your lineups, whatever you got to do to get those W's. I'm actually going to be putting up a poll later this week in the next day or so regarding the $10 that's missing from the pot since Bukaki's out. So should we take it from second place? Should we take it from first place? Or should we just make it a $90 winner take all? You get to decide. So look for that poll and get out the vote, or don't bitch if it doesn't go your way. Good luck to everyone this week. Vinny, Marissa, you know I love you guys. I miss you guys. It's been a while. You guys should come over on Sunday so you can watch me. Oh, you know what? I'm going to save that for the Smack Talk video. Stay tuned.